All right, so good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Lamar Kessom from RSA Security, and they are a division of EMC, as everyone knows out there already. But this is their fraud action research labs over in Israel, and Lamar is, like I said, she's going to be talking about merchant exploitation for checking of compromised credit cards. Lamar, why don't you get into it a little bit?
Okay, great. So I just want to say everybody is at the RSA conference today, and we're kind of here at this very quiet office. And here we go with this subject I wanted to speak about, which is card checking, something that's very pertinent to merchants who either deal in stores, over the phone, and over the internet. So we're talking about the card not present transactions, which is where fraudsters would have most of their business conducting fraudulent transactions. So, Joe, what I wanted to speak about today is the fact that the card checking process for fraudsters is still a very big business, and it's something that they constantly are doing, and we constantly detect and report, of course, to banks and merchants that we see are compromised. What fraudsters are doing is making sure that when they have a compromised card in their hands, they're checking that it's valid. They wouldn't want to be caught in a store trying to pay for something with a cloned card, and then the card was declared stolen a couple of days before. So before they do anything, they want to check that the card is valid, and they've developed many different ways of doing this over the time. None of these methods that they have developed has actually gone out of style. They're still doing it. Different fraudsters in different levels use different methods. So when we're talking about methods of checking cards, we can see two distinct ways of checking them. Either checking one by one or checking batches of cards each time. They've even developed an infrastructure for checking cards, which is a very robust sort of merchant that actually it's automated, and it checks cards in very large batches, which is something that RSA has seen happen, and have developed a task force that looks over these things and reports them to banks that participate in the task force. So we're going to look at how fraudsters check cards one by one, which is actually what they most don't like doing, because it takes them too much time, and if they bought a lot of cards, or they have, 100 cards to check and would like to know that they're valid, this would obviously be very time-taxing. But they try to perhaps register a fake merchant, and through that merchant start checking cards, like trying to process them. Fraudsters typically always process a very low amount, which is also a giveaway for them, because if the merchant does not usually deal with very small amounts, if they try to buy something for $1 or for a small amount like $1.80 or $2.10, and the merchant sells electronics, it doesn't make sense, and these little transactions can alert the merchant when they see the transaction log and see that something is fishy with the cards that are going through, because especially if they don't have any items for those types of prices. They can also compromise a merchant's credentials, steal the codes, and send the same type of request to the merchant with, like as if it's coming from the merchant, with their own amounts and the credit cards that they've stolen. So this is another method they're doing it. A very typical thing fraudsters do when they check one by one is try to abuse charities online. And a lot of times charities will allow somebody to specify an amount. So if they would like to know whether the card will go for a larger amount, they can also check if the pre-authorization would go through.
Hmm.
So these are the type of things we're seeing fraudsters still doing. When they've set up infrastructures that are going to check the cards, what we're seeing is thousands of transactions, but yet again, very small amounts. And when the transaction ID, the merchant ID changes in an automated way, it's an algorithm that is possible to detect later on. Joe, so far, everything is clear. Do you have any questions?
No, so far it's very clear. But why don't we take a short break here, And then we'll come back right after this with more from Limor Kesem from RSA Securities Fraud Action Research Labs over in Israel.